from the moment this track opened on Friday, Mario had fire in his eyes. He was out there first, and he got up to speed first. He's really wanted to succeed here today.
3 laps have been completed under yellow. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Paul, there's a new change in IndyCar rules for this race. It is a pit stop rule. When you enter the pits, you will now be enforced a speed limit. Behind me is a radar gun. There are 4 of them located up and down pit road. The drivers will be allowed to only travel pit road at 70 miles per hour. If they go over that, they will be penalized with a stop-and-go penalty. So this is a new twist. We saw it at Indianapolis last year, but this is the first time in regular IndyCar competition for this type of rule.
So now the field, there is that beautiful Toyota Supra twin turbo pace car, which will now pull clear of the circuit, and they come to the line single file at this moment, trying to give everybody plenty of room as they come off the corner, and Nigel Mansell will lead that field down as he moves toward the inside, and we are ready to go racing again as that green flag comes out. The rest of the field straggles through and heads for the first turn, with Paul Tracy moving ahead of Mansell as they head into turn 1. Then Mansell, then Fittipaldi. Then a bit of a separation as Fittipaldi got on the brakes early coming into the corner. But now Nigel Mansell is chasing Tracy. I asked Rick Mears this morning what would he tell Paul Tracy about the start of this race. Should he just lay back and wait for Mansell? And Rick said, no, I'm going to tell him to go for it. So he's following his coach's orders perfectly and pulling out some distance on Nigel Mansell. In third, Emerson Fittipaldi now being passed as a terrific battle developing for third place as well. Scott Goodyear in there as he comes up now behind Mansell, and Scott Goodyear has been having to handle up Emerson Fittipaldi, but Scott Goodyear firmly in control of third place now. They come to Shoreline Drive. There's Scott Goodyear as he comes onto Shoreline Drive in third place. And here they do get a chance to breathe, a chance to rest. Fittipaldi, then Mario Andretti. So if there were any questions about Mario Andretti's car, it appears to be in fine working order. Here comes Andretti inside of Fittipaldi. Al Unser Jr. closes in behind Fittipaldi as well. Then Teo Fabi in the yellow car. Then Raul Boisel sitting just back a few feet. And already they have to deal with slower traffic. Trying to understand why Marco Greco was in there. He must have ducked in and out of the pits during those early laps. But now they have to deal with the slower car, that number 30 car of Marco Greco. Here comes the challenge as Fittipaldi fighting now with Al Unser Jr. and Teo Fabi looking for position to the out 5. Little Al gets around Fittipaldi. Now Teo Fabi looks for a chance to fight with Emerson Fittipaldi.
Little Al had the fastest speed in warm-up this morning, so he has a setup that is very good for the race itself.
Early battle at the front of the field. Paul Tracy was in front. Then Nigel Mansell, Scott Goodyear, Mario Andretti. Mario has radioed his pits and said that that confrontation on the start was not his fault. But I'm sure, Bobby, that's going to be examined to quite some degree.
It's a place on the track where there's always a problem. If one guy doesn't give the other guy just a little bit of breathing room, those kind of things happen to start here because they go through that hairpin just before the start.
You're looking back from Nigel Mansell now as he has Scott Goodyear filling up his rear view mirrors. They come to a key passing area, but Scott Goodyear decides to sit and wait at this point.
And we've always got to remember, Mansell, remember the crash I mentioned. Is he going to pace himself? Now, it would look right now like he's going to pace himself. He's in there for the long haul. Also, when Mansell comes around that hairpin, he just went through. I want everybody to watch. He has a different groove than all of the other cars that are racing here, even the slow ones. But he's been the fastest guy most of the days.
Gary Gerald, an update pit side.
Well, we get a radio conversation. Mansell happy with the way the car is working. He told the crew, don't worry. He, being Tracy, is just using his tires up. So Mansell apparently is happy to run in second at the moment.
Paul Tracy just dusted off the fastest lap of the race at the conclusion of lap 7, 104 miles an hour leading this race. Mansell is now sitting back about 5 seconds with Scott Goodyear all over the back end of Mansell. There you see the battle as second place goes into the corner off of Seaside. Here's that corner you were talking about, Bobby.
Yes, and these two Lolas, incidentally, one of them, the one that Mario's driving, or that one right there is Mansell. That one and the one Mario's driving and Scott Goodyear's cars are different Lolas. The underneath part of them, where the ground effects takes effect, are different. They've done some side designing on their own.
So Nigel Mansell, who was so dominant in Australia, now is chasing Paul Tracy here in Long Beach, California, with Scott Goodyear looking strong behind him. And look at Mario and Al Unser Jr. as they go into the corner side by side. Remember a couple of years ago when they didn't get through there quite that smoothly. But little Al now moves around Mario Andretti and picks up 4th place.
Mario not quite as aggressive in defending his position there as we have seen him in the past. Whether he's chagrined by what happened with Johansson or thinking back to his connection with little Al 2 years ago that you mentioned, I don't know, but he backed off there.
It's too early in the race, Sam, to have a contest like that, isn't it?
Yep, I'm glad they came out of it.
And Al Unser Jr. firmly in control now of 4th place. Mario seems to have settled back. They all must be concerned about fuel economy here, despite the fact that they ran the first laps of the race under yellow. Danny Sullivan, the 7 car, as he comes around the corner in pursuit of Fittipaldi. Just in front of him, Teo Fabi and Bobby Rahal. So 4 cars there in a solid battle now. And it is a fight for 7th place. Just ahead of them is Robbie Gordon. Take a look at Danny Sullivan. And look, here was a car that he had a great deal of trouble with at Phoenix. But Danny Sullivan now surging forward and around Fittipaldi. A good look at the rest of this field coming through. On board Danny Sullivan now. Again, a car that has not performed as well as they would have liked. They've had trouble getting this operation together at Gallus Racing, both for little Al and Danny, and then they seem to have a breakthrough yesterday. Robbie Gordon, Bobby Rahal, Teo Fabi.
Well, there's a few of the teams that have not figured out the Lola chassis, the new Lola chassis, the 93s. The Gallus team was one of them, but their big breakthrough, ironically, came after yesterday. They made some changes last night. Both of the cars, little Al and Sullivan, are going much better today.
Well, they got their cars late among the leaders.
Robbie Gordon with Rahal making a move, but Gordon darts to the inside and slows down. During practice, he had a problem with 5th gear. This gives Teo Fabi an opportunity to charge at the back of Rahal, and around comes Sullivan as well.
Well, you can see Rahal just pull over to the inside, blocking the other guys going into that turn, trying to protect his position there, Paul.
But what happened to Robbie Gordon? He pulls to the side on the straight and then seems to come back up to speed.
Here's the view from behind Rahal's car. You can see Fabi falling back. Here they come, Rahal on the bottom of the screen with Fabi in the yellow car.
No contest as they come off of Seaside and turn back, making that final left-hand turn toward the hairpin. Sullivan closing on the Pennzoil car. That belongs to Teo Fabi. They come onto the straight. Tremendous acceleration at this point.
You notice how Danny Sullivan is really staying in line. He's getting all the draft he can get, trying to get a run right there. Now, he almost made that pass. He didn't make it quite, but he used the draft all the way down that straightaway, then whipped it out right at the very last. And boy, you can really see it on the onboard cam.
So Sullivan tries to make a move on Teo Fabi, can't get it done. Paul Tracy continues to lead this run. Nigel Mansell continues to run in second. Paul Tracy in that 12 car. Look at the lead that he has. We'll be back. During the week at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, they'll race anything. Pinewood Derby cars, you name it. They've had a great time with all the race fans and a record crowd here today. This is a terrific battle between Al Unser Jr. and Scott Goodyear for third. But the 2 key places on the track, as we look at the interval leaderboard here with 25 laps complete, the 2 key passing areas, the turn off of Seaside that they've just come through, and the Toyota turn number 1, have both had yellows for disabled vehicles. Now, they were getting Scott Brayton clear of 1, and it looks like Al Unser Jr. is just waiting for one of those corners to come clear so he can re-engage Scott Goodyear.
Yeah, and unfortunately what we can't, or what a lot of the people can't see, is this entire front straightaway, which is nearly 190 miles an hour, is all under yellow. So there's no sense in little Al, for example, following Scott Goodyear to get in too much of a hurry.